Hi guys, it's album review time. We've got Collateral and Should Have Known Better. This album's coming out on May the 24th. This is a four-piece British rock band from Kent. That's where I came from. That's where I grew up for nearly 50 years of my life. So quite cool that this band come from where I came from. Their debut came out in 2020. It was really well received in reviews across the rock community, you know, really highly thought of. And you know what's so difficult? They brought that debut out in 2020 and just after COVID hit. And you know what, man? Some bands would have just crumbled from the start with that. A new band bringing their album out. I mean, all the momentum must have just gone for this band. But man, they picked themselves up, reading a little bit about them, supported Skid Row and Heat since. I mean, how amazing is that? They are amazing bands as well. And they're back with their sophomore album. And I've got to tell you, man, wow. Just wow. I'm telling you now, guys. I mean, I know there's a lot of love for this band and they are going to exceed all your expectations, no matter how high they are. This is one amazing album. It really is. I'm blown away. I really am. And tell you what, man, the momentum for this album has really, in my opinion, been strong. Sometimes, you know, promotion of an album sort of almost, sometimes albums come and go. You don't even know they're here until they're actually on your doorstep. I love the way the band especially have promoted this album. They've really worked hard at it by the sounds of it. And what they've given you, that, you know, when you hype an album up, the band sort of have, without saying we are the best band ever, they've hyped it up by really promoting it well and made everyone look forward to it. So sometimes you know, when you're hyped up that much for an album, it can fall flat. Man, I tell you guys, this is a brilliant album. So I'm really impressed with the way they pushed this album through the singles as well. I mean, Glass Sky, the first single, which is, it's an amazing song. It's got 236,000 views. I checked last night. All right, okay, that's not Metallica and Maiden figures, but man, it's really impressive for a band that had that trouble, you know, with COVID and just starting out. A British band in the rock scene, which sometimes you would say is saturated. I think they're really pushing those numbers there. I'm really impressed with that. And even the new single, On the Long Road, 149,000 views. That is amazing. And I can only see them gaining momentum over time. I really can. So we're going to get onto the band members in a minute, but Angelo Tristan, who's the singer and frontman in this band, he made a statement in the press that it's easy to say, but it's really hard to achieve. He said it's an album that will remain timeless in years to come. I've heard that sort of thing before, not often, but it pricked my ears up, because the last time I heard a band say that and it actually stick true was the Spirit Adrift album, my favourite album of last year. And Angelo Tristan is not talking shit here. It really is an album. You, on first listen, you would listen to that and think, man, that is the sort of thing I want to listen to in 10, 15, 20 years. That will stick with me. And that is exactly what great songwriting is about. And that's how you write an album to sound timeless. They've done that. They have literally done that. There's a real maturity across this album that's blown my mind. It really has. And like I said, we get onto the band members in a minute, but some of that as well has to do with the way this album sounds. They brought in producer Dan Weller. He's done stuff with Those Damn Crows, Monster Truck, Chris Barris as well. This production, man, wow. I've got to say, in the headphones, turned right up. It's so punchy, dynamic. You can hear every little nuance of music. It's an amazing warmth to this production, but it really pops at the same time. This is a brilliant band, man. And they've sort of like where they differ from those bands that I've just mentioned as well, that Dan Weller has produced. I don't want to put anyone off, because this band definitely sound relevant and modern, but they definitely inject that a little bit of that 80s influence running through them. And I think that's what makes them stand out from a lot of those other bands that I've just mentioned, who are great bands. But I think this band just stand above all those bands, and they inject more melody. Everything's more memorable. I fucking love this album, man. It is a top-notch album. It really is. And what they do also, they are a rock band, melodic rock band, if you want to call them that, but they definitely inject some really cool sort of pop sensibilities into them as well. Will almost make them a real universal listen where you can't deny, if you played this to anyone, I dare anyone to say they don't like this band, or, you know, there's not something good about this band. I know it won't be for everyone because some people just like what they like, but you could never put this band down and say it's shit. It is one amazing feat in music, in songwriting especially. So in the band, amazing set of musicians, man. They really are. You've got Angelo Tristan. I've already spoken about him already on vocals, and does guitar as well. I'll tell you what, man, as a front man as well, he is really, like, you know, he's something special. You know, he's going a long way, this guy. I mean, if he can lead this band all the way, I think. He's got the look, he's got the charisma, he's got the vocals, he's got the musicality. He's a rock star in the making, this guy, for sure. And then you got Louis Malagodi on the guitar as well. I mean, this is, I did talk about pop sensibilities, of course, but this is a rock album. So there's guitar all over it, and there's some really cool, like, different sort of playing. It's a little bit bluesy sometimes, it's a tiny little bit funky sometimes, it's definitely riffy at times, but always melodic, and a lot of that comes from the guitars. And then we have, on the rhythm section, Jack Bentley Smith on the bass and Ben Atkinson on the drums. I mean, this is a thumping rhythm section, man. And that Dan Weller production really makes the most of that. It's really stomping sometimes. This is an ultra tight band for sure. And of course, they're always on the live circuit, so that always helps. But not just the sound of this album, which is amazing, by the way, but the musicality and the skill these guys have got is just off the charts. So guys, I need to talk about every single one of these songs because it is a top-notch album, guys. This is already right up there on my albums of the year for sure. So we got Glass Sky, the brilliant single that introduced us to this album. Came out quite a while ago now, it seems. Immediately I thought these guys, you know, they meant business, and they do on this track. This track has slightly funky groove running through it. At the same time, it has a stomp that drops in and out of the song. This really, man, this is stadium filling stuff, as it has those sort of pop sensibilities running through those rock grooves, catchy, anthemic, and totally addictive. And then we move on to Original Criminal, the second track. Oh man, that riff kicks this off. It's heavy, it's got loads of groove. So Tristan spits out those lyrics, man, with real attitude as well. This song almost has like a sort of street feel, vibe to it. A coolness, a vibe all over it. The riff that runs through this chorus, man, almost has a classic extreme feel. Actually, the track in general sort of has a classic extreme feel. Then we move on to Just One of Those Days. This one has a bit of Boston vibe, I would say, running through its veins. Puts a smile on your face. Again, the band injects some slight pop vibes through their music, but more than enough rock to satisfy all those Collateral fans for sure. Surely a future single release as well. But mind you, you know, when you're listening to these, only 9 tracks on this album, by the way, when you listen to all 9, you're thinking, that's a single. That's going to be a single. It's that catchy, it really is. To this track, man, I mean, it's a track that just won't leave your head. Just One of Those Days is amazing. Teenage Dream is the next song. I've had a few of those in the past. An acoustic guitar kicks in with Tristan's vocals, almost with a slight southern vibe, I would say. The band really show how much soul and groove they have with this track. It's sort of like that Glass Sky funk sort of thing. A totally different track, but that sort of funk running through it as well. An explosive solo, man, that is so well written. Sort of leads to a really cool, heavier, faster section at the back of the track. Brilliant song. Elysium is the next song I want to talk about. This track is so fucking cool. There's an excellent sort of bass line, sort of leading the track to such a hooky chorus, man. This almost has a Huey Lewis and the News feel to it, but a heavier Huey Lewis and the News. It's really amazing. The way they take their influences and then put their own spin on it is quite impressive. It really is masterful songwriting. On the Long Road is the next track. This was a single and it's the ballad of the album, and it's a proper ballad, emotional, heartfelt. This song has a real universal feel. It's like I'm saying, this band in general does. I'm sure that absolutely no one could dislike this track. It's got a sort of beauty that runs through it from the second it starts to the moment it ends. Great use of strings as well throughout this track, especially on the back half, to sort of build the emotion and the scale of the track. No Place for Love is the next song. Now that's a riff to get your attention, man. At the beginning of that, it's like a cool mix of 80s melodic rock with a modern rock injection at the same time. A huge chorus yet again, of course there is, that makes use of those super sweet backing vocals that the band possess. It's just one song after another, one hit after another. Every track has this totally infectious and classy feel. Outstanding, and again, so anthemic. Game Changer is the next track. This is the fastest track on the album. It almost has like a rocking Van Halen vibe, almost Hagar era for me. It's rocking, so much fun, but it has some serious riffing throughout. Again, I feel that street vibe again coming through on this one. Ultra cool song. And the last track is Final Stand. Very apt title as well. They inject a slight bit of blues to the riff on this last track. Probably the heaviest track to end this outstanding album, I would say. Those riffs really cut through nicely, obviously courtesy of the massive Dan Weller production again. A stomping and rocking finish to the album, and it's over in a flash, man. It really is. I know it's 9 tracks, it is a short album, but come Friday, guys, come Friday, we can all just put it straight back to track 1 and you won't hesitate. I'm not being funny. An album that has everything. Hooks galore, stadium filling choruses, beautiful moments throughout. I think this is nailed on to be on many people's albums of the year lists, definitely including mine. So guys, this album's out this Friday, an outstanding release. We're nearly halfway through the year, we're getting there, and it's just mad this year with the amazing releases. And this is right up there, one of the outstanding releases so far this year, in a year already with outstanding releases. Should Have Known Better by Collateral, guys. Let me know if you're going to get it in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.